there was so much that was not really top priority discussion, it's fine.
Was that the land use?
Yeah.
Was that the one that was dealing with the pasture lease or whatever a couple weeks ago? Is that you guys, or no?
I think, yeah, they were working on.
Oh, no, that's tonight. They had a little talk, and by the way, everything you guys referenced in that, I made hard copies of so that it's available. That's what I was working on in the background.
Chad was here that night, it came up at council,
Okay.
and then he sent me some stuff on the regs on, like, if sludge were to be dumped up there, what the time periods are before you can, whatever, have a consumable cow or whatever. And
Oh, no, you're talking about the other, you're talking about the poop
The-
field.
Yeah.
We were talking about the right of way, sorry.
Yes,
Yeah,
no,
we're-
right away.
But a couple weeks ago, you guys were talking about the pasture.
Yes,
Yeah,
where.
and that still needs to be
And
revisited.
I
Okay.
might even have it with me, I've been meaning to forward it, I wasn't sure
Is
who
it
was
something
on
less
the
than 100
committee.
years before you can grow veggies on it again?
No, it's really, well, hopefully I can find it here, if I can, it's like, some of the parameters are like weeks, if not months, not years.
Thank you, sorry.
Dave, did I give you a copy of that update? Okay,
This right here. I took one.
yeah, no, you're good.
give it to you last week.
It's just, it's mostly just kind of a timeline for
Okay, maybe
people,
it's
and
not-
just, for
Put
me
them in the
too,
email.
I'm
Yeah,
finally
yeah,
getting
yeah.
the timeline figured out.
Alrighty, we call the meeting to order. And did everyone get a chance to, you probably guys didn't get a chance to read the minutes, did you?
I was reading
I-
through them just now.
Read through them quickly to say that I actually opened it. So, yeah, you're fine.
Well, most of the stuff was from, Mike's update,
Yes.
which was wonderful. Thank you for doing that, and
You're welcome.
it would save me some
It's
typing
as
if
much
you just.
for me as you guys.
If you wanted to send this, document to me, it would save me some typing to put them
Okay.
in notes.
I will.
I think
I'll
they're
send-
really
just
helpful.
shoot me an email or
Okay,
remind me,
yep, I will.
please.
Does anybody want to make a motion to,
I'll move to approve meeting minutes.
And I will second.
April 23rd,
all right,
24.
perfect. You guys did it the way I had it already in there too, so.
All right.
We'll just keep that in mind
Yep.
from now on.
I'll move, you would, okay.
Okay. You're up.
I gave
You're
a big thing of it, it's not too much repeat of last time, just kind of a refinement, and I'm gonna go through it really quick, 'cause,
You don't, we've got plenty of time, we only have 2 items, so if you wanted,
And no
well,
one.
I'll just.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll
however,
go through
whatever
it.
pace you want.
You guys can ask questions, the stormwater project kicked off last week on May 8th.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting at the intersection of Seventh and Platte, they're gonna work their way this way up to 14th, and then they're gonna work west, and they're gonna cross at 8th and 11th, so this will be a kind of a war zone. The work right now is mainly just lowering the water lines that will intersect where the storm line is, and, 'cause there has to be a separation there. It's good for us in that any lines that they encounter that are galvanized, which are the old ones, we're replacing them from the main to the curb stop, and that was in the bid. So that's a very good thing. I kinda knew it was in the bid, and then I forgot, and then when they started, I was scrambling around, trying to figure out if we had enough money to replace them all as they did as change orders, and then Brandon remembered, no, I put it in the bid, so.
So they don't even know how many there are in there, but they included them?
We estimated it at 28 or 29, or they did. I think we're gonna go over that in the end, but that's fine. We'll replace the others as change orders, and they'll be $5,500 a piece. We have about 122,000 in our curb stop money. We can use that.
Oh, okay.
So if they go over the 20?
If we go over, and I don't anticipate going over by more than like 5.
Okay, so, yeah, go with that.
And we could hit it dead on.
I had a question, Chair.
Oh.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I have, just so you know, a secret palpitation going on in my heart. We have started this process, and yet we still need to have a public hearing on the rate change as kind of a matter of format.
Okay.
And I have this fear that council's gonna forget that we told them, yes, do this, make it happen, start going, and then come back and say, oh, but people don't
We're-
wanna see
We're,
an extra $10 a month on their taxes. And so just remember the
Well,
conversation, because if we stop at this point, we own for what we've done, we quit, and we have done some work.
Mhm.
I have no
Uh,
intention of.
we're on the hook.
You just, I'm just
Yeah,
sharing a heart
calm down your-
palpitation that I have.
I thought you were gonna
That's
talk
the
about
next thing
medical
I'm getting
condition
to.
that
I'm
you
like,
had to
are
go to
we
the hospital,
calling?
like, who's running the meeting
So,
tonight?
so the next thing on there is, what he's referring to, the 5/28 meeting of city council.
Mhm.
And at that meeting will be the second hearing on the stormwater rates, and there'll be a second resolution to set them, I think. I'm not sure if that's second or not.
Second public hearing?
It'll be, yeah.
Second hearing and then.
And then,
The action usually is the
Is
second.
it an actual ordinance in public hearing? I don't think it's a resolution. I think it's an ordinance that requires 2 readings plus 30 days.
Okay.
yeah, well, Chad had it down, I got these notes from him, he
Resolution
wrote
to set stormwater
resolution,
rate.
but that's when, I mean, we, in a sense, the cart got ahead of the horse a little bit, but.
But we had that conversation up front. I just
Yeah, we
wanted you
did.
to remember we had it.
I got it.
And everybody
Second.
committed to it, it's just, you can't get cold feet now, it's too late.
Yeah,
You
too late.
can, but it comes with a cost. And if our objective was to save people money, which it was,
Mhm.
changing our minds won't do it.
Yeah.
No, that'll
Okay, all right.
cost more.
Mhm.
In January, we were awarded the MSEP grant to update the stormwater PER. We got another grant from RLGL in April, just recently here.
Wow.
So we'll update that stormwater PER between now and we'll have it ready, they'll have it ready for public hearing in February of 25.
Is that the, sorry, there, oh, sorry, I'm talking about the EDA grant, I'm
Yep,
thinking
no,
about EDA.
we'll get
Okay,
to that.
sorry,
Um,
continue.
But basically, that's again, just getting our planning documents, having them done so that we can be ready and compete in these grant cycles, be in the front of the pack. Yeah, we're continuing to plow in, or I am, the GIS, getting all the maps, it's coming together really good, the stormwater, the water, and the wastewater.
Oh, that's gonna be
We
amazing.
got a ways to go, but we've made a lot of progress. On the water side, we've talked about the 60-inch bypass. I think we're probably over 90% complete on the plans. That project will be coming up pretty soon, I think. We are sitting pretty well funded on that project.
Can I ask you, you said, okay, 60% funded with impact fees, I was just reading over the ordinance from 2007, and how you can't use
That,
impact fees,
that was designated in
that
that
was,
study.
okay, good.
That's why we
Good.
can use it. 2023 rehabilitation project, I've been working with Great West on that one. That's to replace some of the old main lines that are left and some of the 4-inch and a chunk of the asbestos line that's left. Same thing with that one. We don't have as good of a plan on funding it, but we're getting everything together so that it'll be kind of a shovel-ready project.
And where are those lines?
Off the top of my head, I can't tell you. They're kind of scattered. That project isn't like
It's like,
it's
not like a
it's a
main all
block
the way
here
down
and a
the
block here.
Okay,
One of them's Park Avenue, 'cause that's where the
Yeah.
asbestos line is. They're kind of scattered. It's about five different lines.
okay, thank you.
Not in the water line, it's on the outside.
Again, GIS stuff on the water, and the nice thing about the GIS stuff on the water is we'll use that as a basis for our lead and copper inventory that's due in October. A lot of dates in here. Mainly this was just to get everything kind of framework of when things are happening for me and for you guys.
Yeah. This is super helpful. I refer to this a lot, and to go back and like, what?
And also in April, we got a RRGL grant to update our water PER, so that will also be on the same timeline as the stormwater one and be available for public hearing in February of 25. On the wastewater, we've got a project in the works that will, the main sewer line that runs between Hauser and Broadway and services a lot of downtown is one of the oldest in town and by far the deepest. It's 18 feet deep in places. And in that narrow alley, it's all that, I'm not gonna say it's impossible to dig and replace it, but it's something we don't wanna try. So, come up with a project to line that with a liner. And that project should be rolling this time next year. And that should alleviate a lot of, because it's such a deep line, it takes a lot of groundwater, which is just like stormwater. It's water that we're treating at the wastewater treatment plant that we don't need to. It's decreasing our capacity. This is on tonight's agenda for the wastewater PER. We had a public hearing, last week on the 9th, and that went good. Tonight, there's gonna be a vote on 2 resolutions, to accept the findings of the PER and to commit matching funds for the grant applications. We're running on a tight deadline here, because we kind of threw this in since I got here. But if we get it all done, then tomorrow we can get in our grant application for construction on this funding cycle, which means it would be awarded next year.
Is
So,
that,
cutting it awfully close.
It is,
are you
but
gonna talk about that tonight at the meeting?
Chad might, yeah, he's coming.
Chad's gonna be here? Okay, good, 'cause
Oh, Chad, okay.
I went to the hearing, and, the mayor had asked if we felt comfortable.
Yeah, this is
Presenting a little-
basically phase, this was the phase 2 he was talking about.
Okay,
This would be the open cut stuff, and it's kinda like the water project I talked about. It's a lot of here, there.
Okay.
It's gonna address some real ticking time bombs, like we have, I get messed up here, something like around 17th and McGillen, we have a situation where
That's my
there's
neighborhood.
a sewer pipe that doesn't have a manhole on the end of it. When you
Right.
run the camera up there and it goes from an 8 to a 6,
Yep.
and then to a 4,
Yep.
and then that 4-inch line goes to 6 houses.
Yep.
perfect.
I mean, when that,
Well, gotta love it.
I'm hoping it holds up there until we can do this, 'cause if it doesn't, we have a big mess.
Right.
We have 6 houses
We have the same
that are,
situation at my house, it
Yeah.
comes from our neighbors and our.
yeah, and
Yum.
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 places. The one on 22nd will be addressed with this project. It'll make everybody sleep better when that's done.
How do you determine what's a private line versus what's a city line?
That's
Because
a
when
tough
Bonner
one.
happened, I mean, it got so bad down there before they finally fixed that. Because Skip Boyer and then Jim Bushnell, both of them swore up and down that was a private line,
Yeah,
and the homeowners were responsible.
Yep.
And none of them could afford to do it,
Yep.
and so it finally got so bad, they had no sewer.
yeah, and the city ended up doing it.
Yeah, the city
Yeah,
ended up
no,
doing it.
that's,
I'm like,
basically, I'm looking at this like, it's the same situation.
yeah.
To answer your question, I don't know how you determine that. I know that
If it's in the
if,
street,
if,
it's the
if,
city.
if there's no way the 6 people are gonna work together and do it right.
Exactly.
The only way it's gonna get done is if the city does it, so I'm gonna skip that argument.
Okay, well, that was always my
I just wanna
thing.
fix it.
I got this
Do it.
instead of like Bonner like 20 years ago, but they waited finally until, they did finally get grant money, I believe,
Yeah.
to get it done.
Well, I
But
think
it was
this is
just like,
a faster way to do it without,
yeah.
I mean,
it was-
it needs done, and if we can get the grant to do it, which we're applying for,
yeah.
then,
It has been backing up in people's houses for the last 20 years, literally.
yeah,
Yeah, like,
It was not good.
Yeah.
I just know that when we had our sewer line replaced, we had to go through 78 to get over to the other side.
Mhm.
And what I was told by Jim is until it hits the main line, it's your problem.
But
And,
see, when it's.
and you know, and that's
really-
kind of a good rule of thumb when you have one person
Sure,
on it.
right,
Or
yeah.
maybe
Six
two, but
people.
when you start stacking 6 houses up, then it's,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So I'm glad the city is going to be, for sure.
so that timeline's all spelled out there. If we'll get the grant applications in tomorrow, and then there's another one, next week for the MCEP grant. In May of 25, those are awarded by the legislature, they'll hopefully approve them. Once they're approved, we'll finalize design, winter of 25 will get bid, summer of 26 it'll go to construction. Same thing with the GIS on the wastewater. On the streets projects, the FEMA project we talked about a fair bit. I did, and I don't know, things just slipped through the cracks a little bit here and there, and I threw all that stuff in the GIS, and lo and behold, we overlap with the stormwater project, so, that project's probably gonna get pushed off even further, even though it was awarded last year, because we're not gonna go lay asphalt and then tear it up.
Right.
Um,
Thank you.
and
Nothing worse than that.
And it's not much, it's down here on Platte is where the overlap is, so we may be able to work something. Wharton has not been in contact with us, so I don't know where they're at. I'm assuming they don't wanna mob in here twice, so they're probably gonna say, well, wait till you're ready and come and do it all at once. The big EDA grant, that's been submitted, it was submitted 2 weeks ago. It was submitted with, based on the conversations, that there would be some back and forth between Great West and the EDA people to kind of fine tune it and get it targeted better so it would compete better, cause they want,
You wanna win it?
they wanna see it get funded.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, none of that back and forth has occurred yet, so we're hoping for that. They anticipate that they will award it next month, so that's good. And if we get it, which hopefully we will, 'cause that's a big one,
How much is that one? Do you know?
3.5 million
Wow.
for streets.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
So
It's just, that's unbelievable, and we'll have to match 700,000-800,000, and I took, for Lonnie and I, we took
So we have
our
400.
gas tax money that we had and didn't spend it with the anticipation that we would use it towards the match, and I think I knew at some point, I'm gonna ballpark here, we're probably somewhere in the $500,000 to $600,000 range of being able to meet that 700-800. So between now and then, we'll be able to figure out how to come up with the rest and get that matched, and we'll leverage 700,000-800,000 and 3.5 million. And if that all goes according to plan, that'll be construction next summer.
Okay.
Cool.
We did get a bunch of patching material in, and when we can, the guys have been out, patching with the weather, and we've had a few water lines we had to dig up, fix, so that kind of cuts into it. So we are doing some pothole patching, we're still trying to figure out a grader. Park stuff, we
Do you know,
got
do you know which
the,
alley you're gonna hit first?
what's that?
Do you know which alley you're gonna hit first?
Which what?
Alley?
Alley? Oh,
Did you get that grader?
for grading them? Well, okay. We've been taking this little box blade out a little bit, but it doesn't work real good. I gotta come up with a little grader. So I've got there's some money in an equipment fund that if I find the right one, we can get one. I'm still shopping.
Okay.
I found one in Illinois, but it was a good deal and I didn't jump quick enough.
Or far enough?
In parks, we got 80% of the money for the ADF thing, which is good. That's enough to pay for all of our supplies and materials and trees. That's moving along pretty good. The Parks Board is doing a great job of getting things organized for the event. Baseball fields they've come pretty good, pretty far. So far, we got the scoreboard fixed, we got all the wiring fixed, we got sand on one of the fields. I think they painted the dugouts, we got them paint. So we've got a lot of work done there. We're gonna try and get the bathrooms turned on there tomorrow. I think we're out of freezing danger, cause they have games starting today, actually,
Yeah.
and weather permitting. Pool, I don't know if everybody heard, but our pool manager resigned.
Yeah.
So we hired a new pool manager yesterday.
Okay.
It's Aubrey Kramer, and we're gonna go with the head lifeguard this year too, and that's Braylon Hay. She was a lifeguard last year.
Graduated high school.
She interviewed for the pool manager position as well, and it was close. She was,
Is
for a
Aubrey,
19-year-old gal, she's pretty impressive.
is Aubrey, the same Aubrey who's at the gym? Teaches at the gym? I only know one
I
Aubrey, so.
don't know anybody here yet.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm checking out Facebook.
Good, you have no biases.
Yeah,
Well, I know Braylon.
I'm a blank slate.
Yeah.
She's been recruiting
I
like
never-
crazy. She's been trying to get my daughter and her friends, and my daughter's like,
Willie's been whittling away at punch list items for the pool. We're pretty much done with those. We're gonna drain the pool probably this week and start filling it next week, get it warmed up, and we're on line to open June 1st, weather permitting.
Cool.
Capital improvements plan, we're plugging away on that. Theoretically, we'll have a draft, here soon. And once we get the draft, we'll go through it, revise it, work with Great West, hopefully have a finalized draft by June of '24, and have it ready for a public hearing, in July. And then from that, we can then begin work on the impact fees. There's another little project that's kind of been just laying dormant. It's related to the flood in FEMA. It's a bank stabilization down by Ninth. Supposedly, Great West's gonna have us some options to look over in June, and then have a finalized design by August, and have it out to bid by September, with theoretically construction to begin in October. I think that's a little optimistic. It'll probably be, I wouldn't be surprised if the actual construction doesn't occur till after high water in '25.
So this is-
runoff.
This is on the west side of the river, against Ninth, kind of where the row abandonment
Where the
that you're
house
talking
went
about?
in.
Mhm. Yeah, all right.
All right, thank you, Mike,
Mhm.
appreciate that.
Kinda
helpful.
just keep everybody, clued into where we're at. Should do one. I don't know if she would- Jody, did you want one of these?
Sure.
Yeah. Should've given you. before we got home.
Chelsea, has there been, there probably hasn't been a Parks Board meeting?
There was a Parks Board, gosh, was that last week or?
I missed
By the way,
I can't
Oh, that's
remember.
right, yeah, you were
Or
hanging
no,
out.
I went to it, didn't I?
Yeah, I think you were
did.
there.
Yeah, I went to it. I thought it was the wrong day.
And I think Sustainability Board is Monday.
It was yesterday, wasn't it?
No, it's.
No, URD is what we had
Oh,
yesterday.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you
I knew there
wanna
was something else.
add to the
Yeah,
park
so
stuff?
Parks Board, he pretty much covered it. The only thing.
What was the one thing we're gonna bring here?
I got you. So BRTA did a presentation. They've been working with MDOT to talk about a feasibility study of actually getting the walkway up Brewery Hill.
Oh, thank God.
And so they're able to fund part of it, but they're looking for assistance for finishing the funding for the feasibility study,
$5,000.
$5,000.
Really?
Yeah, to get the feasibility study off the ground. And I think he said the timeline on it, we'd get the feasibility study done There was a grant coming available in, I think it was this fall or early winter. And so that would give them plenty of time to get
Yeah, it was a pretty easy timeline.
yeah, it was very comfortable, like a good drawn-out timeline, but it gives an opportunity to get the feasibility study done, get that all in place, make it shovel-ready, get the presentation, and potentially apply for some grants. Again, it's either fall or even January, it might have been January. I know it would be awarded in 2025, so likely construction in 2025. So that was one thing that he was
Nice.
looking for support.
Can I clarify, so if the MDOT will fund it, but they need an additional 5,000 from another entity?
No,
No.
basically, it's like, it would kind of be in
It's a private
framework,
party.
it would be like, the feasibility study is kind of like a preliminary engineering report.
Mhm.
It's the proof that, yeah, we
We
can
need to
do
do
this,
this.
it's
Yep.
the right fit,
Yep,
this is worth us looking at it as a funding option.
Yeah.
It's not just somebody had an idea and sketched it on a napkin.
Well, and how far, like,
So-
okay, go ahead, sorry.
so the MDOT portion of that, just to kind of clarify, that's just him been having the conversations to see if they find it feasible and working with them to make sure that it's worth actually attempting to try. Like essentially getting their green light to move forward with a feasibility study.
Mhm. Okay, I'm still confused about the additional $5,000 then.
That's
Well,
the feasibility.
It's like, it's
Yeah.
gonna cost about 10 to do the feasibility study. PRTA would put up 5.
Yep,
They're asking the
Okay.
city to put up 5,
Thank you.
and
Yeah.
then we'll do the study. And the study might come back and say, you know, the only way you can do this is to build $1 million trail, and then it may just go
at the very end,
So
though, at
you're-
least we have
you're
$10,000
five
to shut
grand.
up the conversation because
five
it's been.
grand's
Right,
gone, but,
well,
And so they're asking that from the city then, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and so specifically through the Parks Board, so, Parks Board wanted to show their support in when budget season comes around, putting that into the budget for,
And I think there's a couple, if it's something that the Public Works Committee or the council, if you guys talk about it, wants to support, I think there's a couple options. There's still some room in the Parks Board budget for this year to probably weasel $5,000 out of that. Or I could budget for it
next year.
next year. I think the approval for it would be, if we were gonna use it this year, and because the Parks Board budget's kinda weird with
Yeah.
the whole Parks project thing, which I don't get, but I'm working to make it more like a normal thing. You know,
Good luck.
Good luck, yeah.
I mean, if I put it in, if I just simply put it in the Parks budget for next year and you guys approve the budget, then it's done. That's, we don't have to
Yeah.
have a whole lot of discussion on it. I feel like because the 2023-24 budget's kind of vague on projects, it's just projects, if you're fine with saying it's a project, spend the money, I can do
Yeah.
that, but I kinda feel like we
What
should,
we typically do is we get the Parks Board, like right now, like $80,000.
$80,000.
And it's for them to, as a board, to decide how they wanna spend it. And that's really the end of the oversight from council, because we don't wanna nitpick
So if
every
I-
little
so-
project that
yeah,
they do.
Okay, so
Chelsea
So
said
if I
yes.
can, because I'm kinda eating some of that money up, I just
Yeah.
decided that,
Well, and then that happens too, because some of
And-
it is used for,
But
fixing
if I-
things in the park. It's
if I
not
get-
all,
yeah.
it's a weird deal, because Public Works,
Well, and I'm
does
finding
the
out about
bigger-
all these weird
Yeah.
things that
Mhm.
kinda went on behind the scenes, like I have people calling me up and saying, do you want us to come spray the trees again?
Wait, what?
What's this about? And, well, Courtney had us spraying trees and, or there's a lot of stuff that doesn't come up on any
Yeah.
piece of paper that I can find.
right,
So.
exactly.
I'm kinda learning a lot about parks.
I know, and a lot of that was just out of did they give you a copy of the Parks Board budget?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That-
it's,
But then there was other stuff that Jim would take out of Public Works budget and pay
Right.
for, so it was kind of like a,
yeah, well,
So what
what I
is-
kinda wanna see is like, we work together, we build a budget, their project, they tell me what they want, and it's all comes out of one budget, 'cause it's
Well, without having,
confusing. And I can't believe that it goes through an audit, okay?
I know, well, and we don't have a Courtney now, I mean, that's you, so it's actually, I think, going to be easier.
Yeah.
Because you're the one who's going to have the
Tie it all
final
together.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was
Where
where-
it's spent from.
Too many hands in the pot type thing.
So I
Yeah,
guess,
and also
you know,
just the telephone tree and
Yeah.
like things getting shut down. It has been working really a lot smoother since Mike's been going to those meetings and they can just be like, hey, we need this done. Like
Yeah.
last go around, he just came with a similar kind of update where it's like, this is all the stuff that we did for parks, check, 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 check. And
Things are
it's,
happening finally, thank
yeah,
you.
and
I gotta
so,
make sure and it's hard
Keep it in the right
to
lane.
track budget, 'cause it's there's these hidden things that I don't know.
So you have to ask Lonnie about, like, what?
What was Braintree?
So-
Yeah.
Well, and Lonnie would know where that was paid out of, too. If it
Yeah.
was paid out of that 80,000, or if it was paid out of Public Works, and.
yeah.
But
Do
after
you-
this year, moving forward, I think it's gonna be a lot more clarity to it.
Do you have someone in Public Works, an employee that's actually like licensed to spray weeds and stuff? Or-
Not right now, I believe, and again, like, I got a deal from Nick at BRTA about, you know, they'd sprayed a bunch of, they have license to spray, and they'd sprayed a bunch, and I got a bill for a bunch of chemical, and, you know, that's fine and dandy, 'cause it got done. It's
Yeah.
just that, in my little ADD world, I like to know, I don't wanna get a bill without having it, you know, where
Before.
that I was expecting, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I guess going back to the feasibility study, I think, kind of juggling all these weird things in parks, I think there'll probably be
Mhm.
enough money to squeak by and pay for that out of this year's budget,
Okay.
or we could budget for next year.
Do we need to make that like a
It- it
resolution
it feels
or
like,
no?
I don't
No,
think so.
if it's out of the 80,000, that's
Yeah,
what
it's out of
Parks-
an approved
that's what
budget.
Mike and the Parks Board.
Cool.
And, you know, I haven't, some things, you know, are a little iffy, you know, I'd wanna feel around it a little bit, not knowing the history here. But every time that trail comes up Brewery Hill, everybody's
Please.
hallelujah. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's a
And
no-brainer.
there's a
Yep.
connection on both sides, so it just,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll, end of this week, next week, I'll grind through that budget and see where we're at, and,
And MDOT is the one who does the feasibility study.
I don't
What's
think it's
that?
MDOT that does the
no,
feasibility.
Great West would do it.
Great West to do it, okay.
And,
Yep.
and I think the ultimate funding agency is, it's state,
Mhm.
it's with the state, it's, can't remember which department it's with,
Yeah.
but it's kinda like the same, it's kinda like an ROT,
Yeah.
RGL deal.
It was like an alternatives grant. Apparently, like, they're doing something really similar on Zimmerman, and that's what made us think, like, grade is no issue here if they're doing it on Zimmerman.
Right.
So
Yeah.
essentially, it's an alternative routes grant, and
Ah.
essentially promoting walking trails, that kind of thing, but,
Zimmerman,
yeah, right? It sounds like a,
hold my beer.
An alternatives what
So,
grant?
yeah, we'll just,
I think it's an alternative
we'll
route
see if we can do it
grant.
this year, and if we can't, we'll
Put
budget
an
for it
asterisk
next
next
year.
to that Chelsea does not remember.
Okay.
Question mark?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And did you have a question? Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I was just, first we need the feasibility report, but I was trying to picture, I'm assuming the sidewalk would go all the way down 78 to,
My house.
would it go all the way down to you?
I think it would come all the way down to me, and then that would connect with the sidewalk there by the fire department. So it would go alongside my fence.
So it would go right down like Priest's property right there.
Mhm.
There's
okay.
a little piece of ground there, I think,
So-
that the easement might be required,
And
just to
I,
get the grade right, but that's what the feasibility study's gonna
Oh,
figure out.
I-
They're,
It's a very
basically, they'll
steep-
pre-engineer it.
We ran it
Yeah.
numerous times. PTSD from
yeah.
doing sprints up that hill. Fine, I'm fine.
And then we did find in, the planning board minutes, just randomly, that I was able to pull this out, But when Alpine got their stuff approved for their conditional use through planning board, one of the conditions was to cooperate and provide an easement if and when that trail ever happened.
So it wasn't necessarily as they were gonna help pay for it, it was to provide an easement.
Just
Okay.
easement, okay.
And to
But
cooperate.
that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So that's
mean, it allows-
that's one chunk of the highway taken care of.
Yeah.
I know next to my section, or like mine, you don't need an easement by my house, there's like a weird strip there at the bottom that's owned by the state, I believe.
How about Scheller property or Priest, I guess it
The
is now?
Priest. That's the one I think where we would probably need some sort of easement, but there is still some right of way there.
Yeah.
It's not like their property goes straight to the road, you know?
But there's like a little creek in there or something, isn't
There's
it?
Yeah.
Like,
There-
they could probably,
There's an irrigation district.
Yeah.
they could
down.
divert that.
Yeah, or I think honestly, they're talking like maybe culverts, like a little
Yeah.
boardwalk bridge type thing. Could be really cool. Yeah, so, yeah.
Cool.
When we do done impact, because I think the water goes over to their property and they have.
Yeah, they have
Portion.
ponds and stuff there, and they need that running, otherwise it gets in the ground and then it comes up in their basement, like,
Yeah.
and it would, the same would happen for me, like, I would prefer that we keep water flowing. Cause I don't like it when my basement floods. So that was Parks Board. There was also something about coal miners. He was working on the pump tracks.
Yeah, and we met with some people from the DEQ coal something. They were the original people behind the repository up there and did the kind of thin cap on it. 'Cause they're looking for projects to fund, and they were thinking about Red Lodge, 'cause they don't like the coal coming out of the hill and down in the drains, and the trails cut into it, and the kind
Yeah.
of butchering up there where the pump track's going.
Yep. Javelin.
I think, and we're gonna go up there tomorrow and look at some stuff with Beth, and I think that we just need to reinforce to the school, and the school's gonna meet us up there. I should call Nick and see if he'll come up, but when we do stuff up there, the city, whoever's doing it needs to be cognizant of the fact that that's a coal repository, we don't
Mhm.
go digging holes in it, and
No,
yeah, it's got a shitty cap on it, but that doesn't mean that,
it's not, so.
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause the DEQ would, they're looking for projects, and they're willing to stick some money up there to make it better. But there's other parties in that same department that are kinda like, well, they're up here poking holes in it without really any
Just digging right
Yeah.
into that
back and forth
asbestos.
with us, and, but we need to police that a little bit.
They originally did, that's how you were going to build 2 soccer fields up there through that same
Yep.
fund.
Yep.
And that's why
Oh, that's
her
right.
look on her face when you said that too, is just like, really? Because they pulled out of it because it was going to be too
Yeah,
expensive.
and that's what, when they contacted me in the beginning, they were very upfront about that. They said, yeah, we looked into it, and we had great plans, but then we didn't realize topsoil was so valuable in Red Lodge, and we'd have to truck it so far. But with that knowledge, they're looking at another run at it, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
We're-
soccer field's
we're-
done
we're-
now, so.
Yeah.
Was,
It's worth listening to them.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, absolutely. Take any help we can get on.
so was it discussed with at the Parks Board, the whole Javelin issue? up
And
there?
we're gonna talk
Mhm.
about that tomorrow up there.
Yeah.
So from, in our land use, we actually found out, and Sandy did some digging with MOUs. The MOU for parks actually expired 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
It was a 5-year,
For which park?
What's MOU?
for the one,
For coal miners?
Coal miners?
yeah, up where they're worried about the Javelin.
The
Yeah.
soccer field?
So it was, the MOU was made in 2016, it was for 5 years. So it has since been expired, and then the school's MOU is still in place for, I think, another year, 2.
Oh, interesting.
Uh-huh,
So but the MOU that's expired, is that with the high school?
No.
No, that's
It's-
with soccer fields.
The soccer field has a new MOU.
Yeah, I know they do.
not the soccer field,
Okay.
the
Just the rest of the perimeter of that?
Yeah, the ones, whoever's concerned about the spikes of the javelin.
That's soccer.
That's not.
So, yeah, 'cause she said the MOU with that park that controls the soccer field up there,
No, that's a brand new one.
that's a brand new one? Okay, well then
Because the soccer
she,
field is brand new.
okay, well then she, I don't know which one she
She
was,
doesn't have a copy of it.
I don't know which one she was talking about, but the one that she found showed that the MOU, there is one that
Yeah.
is
there's-
expired that needs to be,
Beth made sure there should be a brand new MOU for the soccer field. 'Cause
Okay.
They haven't even used the soccer field yet.
Yeah,
Right.
she wants to, that was one thing she brought up is updating that MOU
okay.
to mention usage for the high schoolers for the javelins
Mhm.
specifically. And,
Well,
yeah.
and Dave was also going to
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happened in your meeting.
talk to, Fitzgerald about it.
Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like that's,
So maybe if we
yeah, I don't know if we necessarily have to write new language into the MOU, but more so specifically just getting.
well, and I think it's time to find them a place to practice, too.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're in track and you wanna do javelin, and
Right.
then you don't get to practice because there's nowhere to practice, and.
Right.
My son doesn't do track anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, like, since it said, where do you practice, at the meet, that's
Yeah.
not fair.
No,
Mhm.
So we have to figure out,
and that's it. I understand that she
think-
wants to, like, baby the soccer field, but at the same time, it is a public park.
Right, well, and that was her concern though at parks, is that people are walking, and stuff
Wow.
like that, so, maybe you put signs up,
Track practice, from this month to this month, from 5 to this.
yeah, so, I
Here's the
think
list.
there's a way to work.
Watch your head.
Look up, look at your whoosh.
So, yeah, other than that, that was pretty much parks. In terms of sustainability, Corey was planning on coming to this, was not able to make it. Bear with me, I'll pull her message up.
Thompson?
Yeah, just, wanted to let you know that the Sustainability Board is meeting on Monday, and will include the individual wish lists of projects that they would like to focus on in the near future, so they can narrow down what they want to work on and actually work on doing the feasibility portion of it before submitting for grants. So that's those updates.
That's, what time is that one?
Oh, boy, let's find out. I think 5:30?
Yeah, they're all,
I think it's 5:30.
Thank you,
I
guys.
think I said I'd go to that.
You did.
Oh,
You
man,
sure
why did I
did,
say
ma'am.
that? Why
They're
did
so
I say
excited
that?
to talk to you. They love talking to you.
Why did I say that? I gotta be.
Stranger?
Hi,
Hey,
come on in.
who are you?
Who are you?
We know you.
I know, right?
I need to come to the world.
Yeah.
Well, it's suggested that I shouldn't, but that's a different story.
I think I have a meeting with Dennis at 5:30 on Monday, and I
Oh,
can't
yeah,
make it.
yeah, you think so?
I've never, I got a meeting with you at 5:30 on Monday, right?
Yeah?
Oh, it says 4 PM.
Oh, 4 PM, that's when our meeting is.
No, no.
Wow.
Have they always been at 4? Like, no.
Is it 4?
Yeah.
Mm.
The once a month
I
meetings
tried.
kill me. I never remember those.
I know.
I miss
No
them
worries.
a lot, or I'll get a phone.
So
Okay.
next thing on the list is a readdressing project, and I guess I'm gonna start out by saying, I don't know how this got on the agenda for tonight, because I don't feel like we were
much.
really even talked about it that much. So
I think that it was more, an up or down, from council on whether or not we want to proceed. But if you're not ready to make that decision yet, then that's fine, and then we
Take a
work
look.
out all
I'm not.
the public outreach and the details afterwards. But if you're not ready to make that decision, I
I
mean,
think it's the council's gotta make the decision.
yeah.
I mean, just know full well that it's gonna turn this town upside down for quite a while.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I wanna talk, I would prefer to talk
I
to
mean-
stakeholders first.
Right.
To ensure
And
that
then-
this is even a,
Yeah, to be sure that they're gonna,
Well, just so they know.
so they know, and also, we can address concerns, and we can, maybe come up with some solutions that will make it easier.
yes.
If we wanna proceed, so I would just as soon table.
It's
Table
gonna
this.
reach out to more than just people with the address change.
Yep,
Oh, it's going, it's
gonna be
one
a
of
big
those
deal.
ripples
yep.
that's just gonna keep going for a hot minute, so.
So yesterday at RLBA, or
You change the
RLBA,
whole way that everybody who's lived here understands the town.
so I was talking it over with Tom, and you can sit down, bro, like, you don't have to stand in the corner, like.
I thought you were trying to duck out again, like,
I was, but did you guys need me?
no, you can,
Not the moment.
Not for this part.
one.
Next one.
Next one.
When's the next one?
Six, the city council meeting?
Oh, I'm gonna be there for that.
Okay.
That's a
Yep.
rumor.
Yeah.
No, I can be there for any city council, no worries.
All
Okay.
right,
Okay.
sweet.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thanks.
But yeah, I was chatting with them, and then the Haymans, and they had some very loud concerns, as I can imagine they would. And specifically, it wasn't the fact that it was happening, it was how. So they wanted to be more of a thought-out process
Yeah.
with a timeline, a strategy, and also enough time for them to reschedule what they're doing. So they own Babcock and Miles.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, I was like, context, you lost me.
sorry. But they own Babcock and Miles, and just for an example, for their situation, again, they're probably the highest extreme of people that would have the negative impact.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they have over 70 vendors from all over the world that deliver to that address.
Correct.
And so that's a very big concern for them. So they just want to make sure that people will be able to find them on the Googles, the
That's
mail.
gonna be the tough one.
Yep, the delivery people are gonna be able to find them for the drop-off, and that, you know, they're not as and they also wanna make sure that, I mean, think about it, we just put in Destination Red Lodge ads. Would've been nice for them to be able to have that in
Well,
place.
there's no way it's gonna happen before next summer, I mean.
I mean, some of the conversations we had was doing it in this fall, is that not right?
I'm not sure, we talked about a timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I think there's a lot of, the point is, there's a lot of things that we maybe have not thought about, like, you know, we have ads in the next 4 magazines with this address.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so to address those things and listen to the
I think
people who
one
are
thing
most
that might be
impacted,
worth
then I think
looking
we.
into is contacting Google and Apple and just getting an honest, no BS assessment, how long will this take
Yep,
to implement into your system? 'Cause I know we tried to change some routes in Shoto.
yeah, and you were saying that was a struggle.
You're not dealing with, maybe something of this magnitude, you could get a real person,
Mhm.
but we weren't able to get there, so we would do all the steps to
Mhm.
make the change, wait, nothing had happened,
Yeah.
do all the steps, and there was
Yeah.
just a huge backlog.
Well,
And
man,
it took, I don't even know if it ever got done. And
Was
and
that
that
during
started 7 years ago.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I mean, has anybody started working on addressing the fact that there's no North or South Broadway right now?
So that would be what would be also addressed during this. So,
Well, no, but MDOT, when they put the new street
Yeah.
signs up, we
Yeah.
don't have a North and a South Broadway
Right.
right now.
I
So-
brought it up with Dwayne
Okay,
and then I need to follow up on it.
okay.
So part of that, like, that's part of the reason this issue also would be getting done at, around the same time, was then when you're doing the signs, one, we're getting them all compliant with the regulations that they're supposed to be certain reflective, changing the names to actually be accurate, fixing the Broadway signs. Those would be those pieces that would get addressed
Mhm.
during the readdressing project, along with the public health and safety concerns. So just in terms of being able to find a location and be more standardized in that regard. What I think would be smart is, because we have a lot going on right now, we're about to jump into the budget. I think in the fall, we do a FAQ
Mhm.
with anyone who's interested, but specifically the stakeholders, with a lined out strategy of what it would look like. Like, okay, this would be the process. It would start this time, your address will be this, it will change this date.
Mhm.
Like, and then that way they can start to plan for the following fall to
Right.
actually do the project. In the meantime, while we're doing that, like, again, doing that due diligence of what would be all those changes, contacting the Googles, contacting, again, the gal who was at the last meeting where she brought up census, like, how
Mhm.
that's a huge issue for them. So just really trying to hone down on that list. Like, I've been kind of plugging away and making one. It's not short.
going.
It's a big list,
You're
and when you
going.
get, I put together a pretty good chunk, I think, and then you're driving down the road and you go, oh, I gotta add that to the list, and I
Yeah.
mean, it keeps growing,
Yeah.
and it'll probably keep growing.
Well, and I think it would be good to reach out to the county too, because when they changed Clark's 212
Yeah.
to Clark
Mhm.
Fork Valley Road or whatever.
That's a good
that
point.
is. You know, 'cause Bill was here and he said there was a lot, but
Mhm.
they also, they might be a good resource to reach out to on how
It'd be good to
what
get
they
a
went
second
through.
opinion on it, 'cause Tom Coley's very convinced that it's a super simple process, 'cause he addresses stuff all the time.
Well, he also did say, though, that he doesn't want it to appear that he's the one pushing this, because he said he's not.
Oh.
So, and that's the other piece
So,
too,
like, he's
is
like,
this is something that was
pushing it then?
talked about 6 years ago.
because it was passed by city council to do this, and we've never implemented it. And so the mayor asked us to decide if we want an up or down. Do we want to implement it, or are we just going to continue to carry $40,000
Or can we put
forward?
that money towards
If
something
you
else?
decide
Oh my
not to
God.
implement it, I'll put the 40,000 in asphalt, so.
Yeah, I know.
I got it spent.
So
Yeah.
Brainer to me right now.
I think that's
For what?
also a really important question to ask, is this something that we actually need to do? Because then I was talking to Tom Coombs, and you can tell he's exhausted, he's had this conversation 100 times over,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
and he's like, at this point, I'm not even convinced it's necessary.
Mhm.
Like,
Well,
we
then
have
why-
enough
then-
advanced technology to where we will find your house.
Right.
The devil
There's
you
a
know is better than the devil you don't
And
sometimes.
so, yeah, so I mean, it really just, that's what,
Well, if
the mayor wanted
nobody's
us.
pushing, if there's not a compelling reason, then it's not,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
What is the
other than
compelling
just to put it to bed, then,
Yeah. I mean, the only compelling reason for me, like, again, they're like, oh, well, this encourages growth, moving, like, out north, and it's like, to me,
We'll
we
figure
can
that
Figure it
keep
out.
making names,
Yeah.
like,
Figure it
doesn't
out.
matter.
yeah, we'll figure it out.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't, yeah, just 'cause we run out,
Yeah.
we run out of streets at one going north, doesn't mean we can't start
Right,
with,
just have new names, you
with
don't
Yeah.
have.
Super
whatever,
fun ones too.
Chelsea Street or
Yeah, we should absolutely
whatever.
have Chelsea.
I wanna
You know, name a
Yeah.
street after
No
a
one's gonna be able to
council
spell it
member.
right either, like.
Keys Avenue.
Right, but I like that one.
That's it.
I mean, especially
This is
because I don't
way.
know if you guys saw it get listed, but
Then I'll be like, shit.
that one big lot just on the opposite side of the brewery just got listed last night.
Yeah,
34 acres,
34 acres.
for only 1.2.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
North of
That's
the
not-
brewery? It's
No,
north of
just
the-
across the street,
It's-
so like,
That's not
Oh.
in the city limits, I don't
it
think.
is.
It's half, it's half and half.
Okay.
So Sandy was explaining it, that it's got a awkward, weird kind of
It's
line
got a
to
weird
it.
flat line to it, but,
I always wondered if they were ever gonna sell.
Yeah,
I'm
so it's
stoked.
half and half.
like, if someone could turn that into some commercial and housing, like, that would be fabulous. And I think it's priced right to do that. So that's also something when we're considering impact fees and the urban renewal district, this
It
is,
Because it's,
that's
it's
the
right there.
ideal spot for that project. So I got excited.
Yeah. So, yeah, so the mayor just wanted, us to
Yeah, that one right
explore
there.
One with
the
that
pros
weird
and
little
cons of
thing in it.
proceeding
Mhm.
and decide as a council. if
Yeah.
we want
Right.
to do it.
I'm still trying to find a pro.
What is
That's,
Something
well, my Make pro
realistic.
was that it was,
Let's go out there and
requested
put a bid.
by
Drop the pen.
fire and emergency services.
Right.
And if they don't care,
Well, and
I don't
like
care.
Kelsey
Yeah.
said, like, we are in a technology era where we'll find you.
Yeah,
We will find you.
yeah.
But I do just want North and South Broadway to happen.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I
then-
feel like that's not on us, though. That should be on.
On MDOT.
MDOT,
Yeah, that's
right?
not re-addressing, I'm like, I am 101 North Broadway.
Could we redo the signs with some of that
I
budgeting?
think the north
Yeah, I
and
think
south
that's-
Broadway
There's certain
It's
signs that need to get
totally
done.
solvable outside of the street address.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
it was there before,
Yeah,
it's just when they
it's
redid
that's an
it,
easy fix.
for whatever reason, they
And
forgot to
I
put the north
think,
and the
I
south.
think
I'll go with it with a
DOT will
Sharpie.
play along with that, so.
Yeah, to me, I'd rather see those funds go elsewhere. I mean,
Agreed.
again, don't get me wrong, it's one of those things that's like,
So we
sure
can have
would
it
be
for an
nice
action tonight.
that
Okay.
if someone had the foresight back then, but
Is
it's
that-
also,
No, I'm fine with that. I was under the impression that this was something that was very,
That it was, we were being pressed for,
No, we just needed to, as a council, decide if we wanted to proceed with it or not.
then,
I think a vote no would be awesome.
okay.
yeah.
All right.
And then we can
Well,
utilize some of that budget to update the signs that need to
Or
be updated.
put it, yeah, exactly.
And then
Or
for some
asphalt.
of these
Or-
drop
or
signs that we
asphalt.
might need
Or
in
asphalt.
town,
Hauser.
yeah,
Or
we can
asphalt,
utilize
yeah.
it for some other signage in the area. 'Cause again, there's
The speed
like your,
signage.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking it's the tower.
yeah, your block where you have so many.
So what do we have to do then to, 'cause they passed a resolution, right?
Yeah,
So we would just say, we're gonna kill this?
We just,
We don't wanna proceed and
we don't
we
wanna
have to,
proceed.
Okay,
So I move to not proceed?
We moved to,
You can't move to not proceed, can only make an affirmative action, you move to table something.
oh, okay, so
How do we reallocate funds then?
well,
Oh,
no,
what-
if
what-
we,
what is the goal?
the address thing, the readdressing.
How do we,
If,
how do we make it go away?
No,
If
How do we
can't
just kill
work.
this for good? Like,
how do we kill it? Just vote no?
The reality is, all you need to do is direct the mayor to say, no, we're not gonna do that.
okay,
So I
Alright.
move to direct the mayor.
all right, so the,
I don't think we're allowed to do that right now.
No, but I'm
So-
just practicing.
would you like to make
So-
that motion?
So is it just, we're not gonna take an action tonight, or is it dead because we're still doing homework? and
No,
then-
our action is,
We want it gone
we want
entirely.
it, we don't want it anymore.
We're not gonna have that conversation at all? Okay. So what you could do is you could make a motion to approve it, and then have that motion fail, and now it's on the record as it was a motion that failed, and we're done.
Okay.
Or is it something that
That's
do we
actually-
want to confirm with the emergency folks? Because I haven't gotten Schrock's opinion on this, so, but from public health and safety, you're saying that they were not pushing for this?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh,
No,
we were trying to figure out who's pushing for this.
no, no one was really pushing
not-
I think
for
the
it.
mayor was pushing to find out if we wanted to do it,
Right.
but then,
Yeah.
So I can offer my 2 cents on it.
Okay.
Tom Coley's concern, are we done with the last meeting yet, or no? Or-
No, we're still-
okay.
we're
done.
So secondhand information was that Tom Coley had a concern that the way it was written in the paper, which I have not read and reviewed, made it sound like it was strictly him pushing it, and the city
Oh.
was not in front of it at all.
Gotcha.
So that secondhand information, at least by the time it comes to me. Having said that, it is my understanding, I had a follow-up conversation with the commissioners, that what they wanted is, yes, this is good, and yes, it's due, but they should be a joint effort. So emergency services and our GIS and that system and everything works with the county, and part of if we do this, if we move it, is not just the signs, but we should have an interlocal arrangement with them, so that when we're all said and done, all the county services utilize our addressing and stuff too, which to me was like well, yeah.
Do they not utilize their services for like addressing now, or?
They do.
No, they do. We just have to update it with
No,
them.
They issue our addresses.
Yeah.
Pardon?
They issue our addresses.
Yeah, the part of, yeah,
That's the confusing part?
based on the current grid system.
Okay.
So there's 2 questions. One, do we change the north-south-east reference, sort of a thing? But then the whole second part, which was the first time I'd ever remembered hearing it, when Tom Flea was talking about moving a phantom reference point to the side, I didn't get, because when I was here, they weren't gonna change anybody's house's numbers. The house numbers were all gonna stay the same, and that made sense to me.
Right.
But they don't want to have double
But-
directionals,
but
and that was
if
actually,
you put 2 directions in there, then everybody's address changed. You become southwest, northwest,
So, but
northeast.
and
That's what he was
me,
trying to get
where I
away
grew up,
from.
it
Yeah.
wasn't First Street, Second Street, it's 100 South, 200 South, 300 South. That's the entire state of Utah and most of the country now. And so where's 250 South? Halfway between 200 South and 300 South? And so your address is, I'm 250 South, 300 West. Okay, so I'm 3 blocks west, I know it's my east, and 2.5 blocks south.
Okay.
But that's all council stuff.
yeah, but I think
So-
the
so
issue is
if
like
you get-
who, they know where they're going now, they have, you know, Google Maps, they have, like, is there, who's pushing for it?
Google Maps does
Yep.
not have us right. And there are a number of businesses whose addresses are still not accepted in Google Maps.
so,
Well, it's
Well, I
gonna be a
think-
long
I think
time
maybe
till
then
they get it
tonight
right
we-
after we scramble the.
If-
We
Okay.
can table it
Table
and then have some more research and then bring it up next
Table.
Yeah,
time.
that's
Right.
I already wrote
absolutely fine.
Okay.
yep,
I was surprised that we had it as an action item, because what I remembered is you were gonna go out and talk
Yeah,
to
I don't know.
businesses.
Yeah, we
We
didn't.
don't really know how.
Well, not in 2 weeks,
That-
I mean,
I
we
goofed,
wanted to have,
no, so it's not,
Yeah.
so just table it.
yep.
all right,
Cool.
table it.
Table.
And then we'll
One last thing.
just let you know
Just-
when to put it back on.
Is this, before he joined, is this our meeting, or is this the last meeting still?
getting on,
Oh.
hooked to
I'm sorry.
We're
All
still
right.
last, and we have one more agenda item. Anybody else have anything to say
No.
on readdressing? Okay.
Nope, table.
Next thing is, impact fees. I know we don't have our CIP, but I have a question on this, and that is, what is our part in impact fees? Are we, once we're at a point where we have our CIP done, like, city council's part is just to update this ordinance? Or,
Basically, what we'll
set fees?
do is, once we have a CIP, then we'll hire probably, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, it was in one of the earlier things.
Mhm.
He's the impact fee study
It'll
guru.
be the equivalent of accepting the PER.
And,
Okay.
yeah, and
Somebody's gonna
he'll
do-
develop
somebody's
an
gonna do a
impact
study and we
fee
accept it.
study based on looking at our CIP, looking at our PERs, and then looking at everything and develop an impact fee study that will basically justify the impact fees and say where they're going.
Okay.
Okay.
Which is important, because like, we had a project, and I can't remember which one it was right now, where we couldn't use impact fees for it, because it wasn't identified in the impact fee study.
Yep.
And basically, the impact fee study, I believe, is supposed to be updated every 5 years.
Yep.
And we're
Close to
way
20.
beyond.
Yeah, we're way beyond
Um,
that.
So, you know, the chain of events will be, get the CIP done, we'll have either updated PERs around the same time or recent enough PERs to go back to. He'll take all those documents, a bunch of other stuff, he'll do the study, present it, and then, like, I think there'll probably be a public hearing on it, and then you guys will vote to adopt it.
Okay.
And we'll be back in compliance.
And then do you actually pass a resolution setting the impact fees?
It's an ordinance.
Or it's an ordinance?
Mhm.
Okay.
And will we just update this existing ordinance?
Yeah,
Or
we would probably be able to take a lot of that, but it's pretty old, so there's gonna be some,
There's
we'll
prob-
likely take his
He'll
guy's
build it off of
directive.
that.
Okay.
Yep. And the one thing that was brought up is if there is any ways that we can use those impact fees or essentially create some exemptions for any sort of workforce sustainable housing. That was one thing that was part of the directive when we were supposed to look at these, so.
I think that would come in as like, in some of those examples I showed you, there's all kinds of impact fees. We have sewer and water.
Yep.
They have park impact, some town, I think, you know,
Yeah, they-
I've had them
Yeah,
all
the
listed out
comparison
there.
that you put
Parking.
Yeah, I
together.
mean, there's ones for police, there's ones
Transportation,
for parking, or not, for
community
parks.
service,
Yeah.
jails, emergency
So,
services.
I mean, that may be something in the process of the impact fee study, you say, we wanna have an impact fee for what you just said, housing.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for that, and, so is it safe to remove impact fees from the agenda until,
Yeah,
July?
Yep.
we're not gonna do anything until,
okay,
you know, what we have in there for CIP, like July.
okay,
Yeah, July would be the earliest, we're probably gonna see something, and then the council would adopt that
Probably July.
okay,
capital improvement plan, and then we can move forward with the impact fee
Okay.
study.
Cool.
all right. And I am not gonna be here for the next meeting.
Okay.
I'm gonna be out of town. If anybody wants to volunteer to put together the agenda and chair the meeting?
I don't.
Well, you're in.
Just putting that right out there.
Wow. Learn to say no.
I'm trying to think. Well, looking at it,
I mean, honestly, it might just be a bit of a refresh of this, unless
well,
something
that's,
pops
that's
up.
I mean,
why
we
I was like,
could-
if there's
we could
nothing new,
cancel the
we can
meeting.
just cancel it.
Unless there's
Oh.
something,
Hey, I'm all for that.
If we have
unless there's
nothing
something pressing.
One less meeting for you.
Well, no, that's what I was just looking at, like, there's nothing that's really gonna be
Yeah,
The
there's,
only thing
Yeah.
that will be on the next one, on the May 28th one for public
Public works.
events, will be that stormwater public hearing
Yeah.
Okay.
that we have to have, and then you guys approve the.
But that's-
The public works.
But
but it, will that be at the,
But it'll be
Council.
at the May.
it'll be at the council
Oh,
meeting?
Yeah, so you guys,
Yeah,
that's
I-
the public works thing, so.
All right, meeting adjourned, thank you.
Yeah, sweet. You know, I am all.
Okay.
That was
Learning, I know, yeah. And not after today, right?
It's been a long day.
There, stranger?
Go do my.
How are you?